Hey, Richters, welcome to the show. Subscribe, rate, and review. Tell a friend. Book me on Cameo. It's going to be a great show today. Very excited. The guest I'm interviewing today, she is all the way in London. We're the other side of the world, Austin Powers territory. I'm very excited. You've seen her in so many movies. You've seen her in her first movie was Nonstop with Liam Neeson, which is one of my favorites. But you've seen her in The Reckoning. You've seen her in Duchess. You've seen her in Ocean's 8. You've seen her in Vice. She's just been everywhere. The demo, the great Charlotte Kirk is going to be here via Zoom. I'm very excited, and you guys should be too. This is a perfect opportunity to follow the show on Instagram, Twitter, or X. Even though I feel everyone says Twitter and X is dead, I feel it's coming back. I don't know why. I'm not saying I'm a big Elon Musk guy, but I think that because I've had my issues with Facebook and Instagram with the AI thing, I think Twitter is coming back because it's not really going in that direction. But I might be wrong. But anyways, the point is the great Charlotte Kirk is going to be here via Zoom, and it's going to be fun. So sit back, relax, eat your dino nuggets, as the sailors would say, and enjoy Reza Rifts with Charlotte Kirk coming up next.
From Hollywood, California, welcome to Reza Rifts with your host, Keith Reza.
Hi, Charlotte Kirk.
Hi, sorry, I was running, just on another call. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Yes, it's a pleasure to speak with you.
Yes. Thank you so much for saying yes. Everyone says no.
No, I can't believe that.
Uh, I have to harass people to say yes. You know what I mean? But
Oh, no, absolutely.
ah,
It's a
so
pleasure.
you're in London right now and it's nighttime, so thank you for staying up for me. I
Of
appreciate it.
course. Of course. No, absolutely.
Uh,
Absolutely.
we might go back and forth a little because my mind is just kind of like scattered like that. Uh,
That's
but but
well, don't worry.
yeah, I wanted to ask you with the Duchess when you were filming it, because you shot a lot of guns in it. Like, did you ever go to like a training for that? Did you do your own stunts or like how is, you know?
Um, so before then I had some experience with a gun because I was that was after The Lair. So The Lair was kind of like my first film, never held a gun before. And then there I am having to figure out how to look badass firing an AK-47. So that was
Yeah,
tough. Um,
yeah.
but then Duchess, so I had a little bit of experience, but I had like during prep, I would say two classes. So it was just to kind of, warm back up again, make myself look natural. But I guess at the same time, I didn't have to look like a professional.
Right.
As opposed to kind of like my other films, like The Lair, she was a professional. Like, she had to look like she knew what she was doing. So I kind of got away with it if I didn't look quite professional,
Yeah, no, definitely. I just think like those type of things. I mean, because I feel in scripts like I'm not really a big gun guy, but I think guns are they're characters for scripts. You know what I
Yes,
mean? So they
yes,
are needed, and I feel sometimes like mistakes happen all the time, and you're like, I really hope it's not a mistake day.
yes, yeah, and you got to be so careful now of all these terrible things that have happened with guns on film sets. It's
Yeah,
terrifying. Um, but trusting your cast, trusting your armory and your director. Um, my co-star Philip Winchester, who was phenomenal. He was like a complete natural to him. It
yeah,
was just like wow. I was like, you're just like an absolute pro. Yeah, so a big element of that is trust. Trusting your team and Neil Marshall, of course, who was the director, who was absolutely, he's great at making everyone feel comfortable. And I've done multiple films with him.
yeah,
For this, The Reckoning, where I had to learn how to sword fight. Never done that.
yeah.
So
How cool was that?
that was amazing. Quite
Yeah,
terrifying. I mean, there was one scene where it was like a real sword.
yeah.
and it was pouring. We had movie rain. So you know what movie rain is. It's like a shower. At the beginning, opening of the film, it's a montage. And I really want to get into the zone, play music. So there was like blasting classical music, movie rain. So it was like a shower. And I couldn't see a thing or hear anything. And I was trying to chop down my husband that just committed suicide by hanging himself. So I was like, what? I couldn't see, and I was just swinging this sword around, and it was real. And I must have been an inch close to the poor stunt man's head.
Yeah.
And the director was going, cut, cut. And I couldn't hear because it was so loud. And just by the luck, grace of God, everything was okay. But that was an accident waiting to happen. But
Oh, for sure.
it looked great. It was epic. But yeah, looking back on it now, no real swords, I would say.
Well, let's talk about The Reckoning for a second because that
Yeah,
was that you've done other movies before, but I would say like this is probably the first movie that you were like the number one on the call sheet. Like it's your movie.
yeah,
And
yes.
and the other thing is you actually wrote it. So I wanted to ask you like how many times did you write it where before you sent it in and be like, okay, hey, with the notes, and then you're like, and then you rewrote like how many times did you think, okay, hey, let's pitch it to the other writers and see like
Yeah.
corroborate? How many times was that before you're like, okay, this is perfect as shit?
Yeah, well, it was interesting. The idea of the reckoning came to us. Um, and so it was, we didn't really set out to make this particular story. Someone just came to us and said, we want to make a movie about witchcraft in during England 60, 65 during the Great Plague. So we were just kind of really figuring out what the story was going to be.
Yeah.
Uh, and Neil, who was writing it with me, just couldn't crack it. And he was like, I just don't know. I don't know how to make a film with witches. And then one day I turned around and said, what if there is no witches? It's not,
Yeah.
like a hocus pocus movie here. What if there's no witches? And he's like, I know, that's it. I've got it. I know that's it. There's going to be no witches in this film. Well, you kind of leave it ambiguous, right? But
Right.
for us, there's no witches. She's an innocent woman falsely persecuted. Um, and that's when it cracked. And what's really interesting is when I was writing it, I wasn't thinking of how I was going to play it, and I want to write this scene because I want to play this and I want to do that. Not at all. I wrote,
Really?
yeah, not at all. I wrote
Oh.
it just wanting to make the best movie possible, and then literally afterwards, when we were in pre-production, we finished writing. I was like, oh my God, I've got to perform this now. I don't know how to sword fight. I don't know how to horse ride. I had to learn to horse ride. I don't know how to do any of these things. And I was like, it's a real emotional piece. Now I have to be, I'd say even up to date, The Reckoning is one of my most emotional, demanding roles yet.
Right.
Definitely emotionally. Um, so it was a real challenge. As you said, it's like my first real kind of film where I was number one on the call sheet, pretty much in every scene. It was a real, yeah, jumping in the deep end, really.
Yeah.
But it was amazing, really. It was, and then yeah, once we finished the script, I was like, oh my God, I have to act this now. But I liked that because I wasn't biased or thinking of it as an actor, like how I want to do this, or if that was the case, I probably wouldn't have made such the film so demanding. You know,
Right.
thought I could do that.
Uh,
Um,
did you get like anxiety like on this because you're thinking, okay, this whole movie is relying on me. You know what I mean? Like because you're writing it, you're acting, you also help produce it, so you're wearing so many different hats. Like
yeah,
how did your mind like, you know what I mean?
it was really tough. I mean, and, I still do that today. I at least do 1 to 2 movies a year that I co-wrote, produce, and act in, and it's really tough. But it was interesting. I mean, and mainly exhausting, right? Because as an actor, usually you get home and then you go to bed and you're fresh the next day. I would
Yeah.
home and then I'll be making producer calls. I would be looking at spreadsheets and numbers and all the stuff that I don't want to be doing. So, but the payoff is I'm able to make the movies I want to make, right? I want to,
Yeah.
I can play the roles that I want to play because there's a lot of roles that I've played, most of the roles I've played that I've produced and wrote. I don't I've never actually seen anything similar to scripts that have come my way. So
Yeah.
that's the payoff. But it is really, really difficult. Like I'd much prefer, especially if it's a really demanding role, to act in someone else's film. Because
Yeah.
you do it, you do what you love, and then you can forget about it. But with this, I'm in post production now on two films, and it's tough. So I'm working with the editor, um, the composer, everything, because I'm the producer on it. I have to do that, so I
Right.
follow it through all the way to the end. So yeah.
Well, that's one of the things like I find so fascinating about you is because you create your own work. Like I write scripts and I specialize in stand-up comedy, so I'm Charlotte, you're talking to the worst actor in the world. But what I'm saying is
Not if
I
you're not if you're a comedian. And do you know what? You would absolutely love and appreciate the film that I just did, Christmas in Chaos. It's in post
oh,
production.
I have questions about that. But
Whole film is improv.
oh my gosh. So what I was gonna say is like, so I find you so fascinating and like I have so much respect for you because I write scripts, but I can never say, okay, I want to make this my own movie. Like when I write it for myself or John Cusack, and I just have like this feeling like, okay, John Cusack's gonna do it, not me. You know what I mean? So like I can't do what you do. So I find that, and especially being a lady, that's just so, amazing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it is difficult, but yeah, but I think all the roles that I write, yeah, there's a script that I'm writing now. I don't feel like super connected and like, oh, I really want to play this role, but I know the story's great.
Yeah.
Find
Yeah.
a way in, right? Like, but there's some films like Duchess, which I freaking loved, and it was like all about the character and her, and I loved playing her. Then there's certain films where I know it's a good project as a producer. I know it's good, it's commercial. I think it'll be successful. The role's good. It's not like super colorful and interesting, and I'm going to try and make it that, but it's
Yeah.
not there yet. But it's a story I want to tell. So that's
Ha-
the part. But
ha-
then there's other roles. Another script that I'm developing now, where it's a similar case to Duchess, where I love this role so much, and it's like I just want to make this movie because I'm so in love with this character. Maybe
yeah.
good as a businesswoman producer point of view, but you know what I've learned is, as you said, you want to make the movies that you want to watch. Don't
Yeah.
guess the audience. That's the worst thing you can do, because you never know. You never know. You just got to do it the best ability, that what you think is right for this particular project, whatever project it is, and I think it will come. That's what I've learned. Like,
Yeah, definitely.
what, like, if it's bad, at least you can say this is my mistake, and I can own up to it.
Yeah.
Try and second guess the audience. I think that's the worst thing you can do.
Oh yeah. Definitely. I've already had my in Hollywood they have this whole three strike thing. Like if you make three bad movies, you're out. So I've already had my three bad movies, so they won't.
No, no, I don't believe that. You can make 100. All you need is one hit. All you need is one hit.
Yeah. But
Hollywood can be very forgiving. It can be forgiving.
But I wanted to ask you, like, because I would say probably this probably really changed when the pandemic started. But like in the olden days, it would probably take like, I don't know, 6 to 8 months to film a movie, and you could like get chemistry and trust with your like go out get a chicken or something with your castmates. You know what I mean? But not now. Like budget is just they're like, okay, all this money, we want to film as much as we can, as you know. So like the chemistry and the trust is probably a little harder to gain. How do you do that?
Um, with difficulty. A film that I just finished filming, it was a love story, and me and this guy had to have this incredible chemistry, and it was rehearsals were on Zoom,
Oh,
which,
really? Yeah.
um, I mean, and we had, I'd say, a couple of hours with Duchess. So I had a couple of hours with Philip Winchester, um, which isn't great at all. But you can always find a way in. For example, when I was filming Exit Protocol with Dolph Lundgren, I was
Uh,
super, okay, I'm playing again, opposite this legend. I'm playing his wife in the movie. And it was one of those typical shoots. I showed up and they're like, okay, we got to go. We're late. We're running behind. No time to rehearse. I didn't even get an introduction to Dolph. It was literally on like you're filming. Oh,
Yeah.
roll cameras. Oh, Dolph, Charlotte, Charlotte. I'm like, whoa, whoa, hi. But it worked for the scene. I was
Yeah.
nervous and terrifying because we were on the run and it just worked that I was nervous and we didn't really have that chemistry built up yet as husband and wife. It was just like you find a way in. Like that's what I feel like any any day that I'm filming on set, if I'm like Charlotte, me, the person, if I'm really upset that day or tired or something amazing has happened and I've got to play really, really sad that day, you know.
Yeah.
But you can always find a way in. Okay, well, I need to shut that off and get into another way. Like there's always a way in, even if it's the opposite thing. I can all because at the end of the day, you're playing a character with emotions. Even the happiest moment in your life that day, you can think of something bad happening, and then it will just put you there. If that makes sense. I'm just kind
No,
of,
yeah, definitely.
but
Does is that sorry for interrupting, but
no,
is that something you've learned the longer you've done this business, or like when you first started this business, was that harder for you to learn?
I would say with experience and with help the first few movies I did, I worked very, very closely, and I still do today on particular roles with my acting coach, Susan Batson, who's
Hmm.
really helped guide me through that and navigate that. Um, Using your own experiences. I mean, it's very technical, and every actor is very different, you know, Meisner or, method, whatever it is. Um, for me, using your own experiences to connect to the character you're playing always works for me. And yeah, I would say with time, I can switch it on and off now. And that's just
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah. When I was younger, because Charlotte, not to brag, but I'm a celebrity as well. You know what I mean? So,
Of course, of
yeah.
course.
But when I was younger, I auditioned for this really big movie, and I was like one of the final three people to be the romantic lead, and we had to do this thing called a chemistry test, and it kind of threw me off because is I'm 17 or 18 at the time. And then this star is like she was like the biggest teen star at the time. And they're like, all right, you guys got to kiss her. So you have to, and it just threw me off because I have Asperger's syndrome. So like kissing is very like
Me too.
personal. Yeah. So it's like very personal to me. So I'm like, oh, what? So it just threw me off. And I feel I didn't get the part because either I'm a bad kisser or I wasn't prepared. You know what I mean? So it was like that. And I
You know
feel
what?
like if I knew that older, I could be like, okay, I kind of know how to handle this situation.
Yes, but maybe that's just like every time you don't get a role, you always punish yourself. You always think,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
I should have done that differently. Oh, it's my fault. Why didn't I do that? And then you re-watch your self-tape or you look at the person that did get the role. And that's the worst thing you can do. And I do it. Like,
For sure. Oh,
small.
yeah.
It's small, but it's like we shouldn't torture ourselves. It's like, okay, you didn't get that, they're lost. Like, that's the
Yeah.
way you can think about it. And even if you, I disagree. I think even if you hissed bad or you felt like there was something not working, it wasn't that wouldn't have made it or break it. It would have been
No.
overall with the actor and so many elements, right? Maybe you were too tall, too short, too this, too that. It's like so many things. Oh, we're going in a different direction, you know.
Well, this was before they had like intimacy coordinators. So I guess what I'm saying is like when something like that is spurned to you on the moment, it
Yeah.
kind of throws your mind where like, wait a second, I thought I was just reading the dialogue, and
Yeah.
that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and that's kind of a big thing. They should have warned you, to be honest, up front about that. Like that's
Yeah,
like
yeah. Maybe they did, and my agent didn't tell me or whatever. I don't know, but I
yeah,
remember I was like, wait, what?
yeah, of course. That was
But
terrible. I had that experience, like chemistry read. I've had them over Zoom, but they're kind of even worse.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Because, like, with this, maybe that's the whole pandemic thing because everything's on Zoom now. So, like,
Everything. Like I haven't gone in the room for years. It's like
yeah.
all self tapes now or
Do
whatever.
you do you prefer that, or do you think like
100%, I prefer self tapes. 100.
really?
Yeah, I'm like you. I'm not very. I get like nervous if you're like nervous in the room and stuff. I hate it. I hate it. But at least like when you can do it on a self tape, you can do it a few times, check it out. I've had these horrible experiences is where I've like gone into the room and it's just been absolutely terrible. Like forgot my lines and like a lot of great actors that I like have watched interviews on say they're terrible at auditioning. They hate it, right?
Yeah, yeah,
But then if they got the role, it's something else. Because back in the day, I remember it was like you'd get the audition the night before and they expect you to learn 12 pages, and it's like what? Like how am I going to be?
yeah. That's fucking ridiculous. You know what I mean?
It's like you get so emotionally invested in the role, and then, as you said earlier, like you think, is it me? I didn't get the role. Did I do something wrong? And then you start. It's like, oh, it's horrible. It's horrible. At least now you can have a little. For some reason, I feel like self tapes give you more time. It's not. Oh,
Yeah,
it needs to be by tomorrow, and you need to be off book. It's like, how is that even possible?
yeah. I mean, I agree with you, but I'd also argue, and maybe this is just because I'm a stand-up. I like doing the in-person stuff because I could.
Mm,
I can't read energy with my Asperger's, but I know how to make people laugh, and I know how to do that pretty fast. You know what I mean? So that's in my favor.
interesting. See,
Yeah.
I have Asperger's as well, by the way.
Oh, do you really?
Yeah, I was diagnosed when I was
Oh,
dyslexic as well. And my thing is like, I don't like, I don't know, I might, maybe I'm not sociably awkward, but I feel like I am. And, I get kind of nervous when there's quite a lot of people in the room and I get anxiety and it's horrible. At least, that's why I like to be behind the camera. Well, I'm not behind the camera, I'm in front of the camera, but I'm not Charlotte Kirk. I'm playing a character, right?
right.
So
Yeah.
that I'm okay with that. And I'm behind the camera when I'm self-taping, but being in the room, that just makes it more nerve-wracking to me.
Well, maybe that's why we're best friends. You know what I mean?
Exactly. That's it.
Like,
Like,
I mean,
you.
this is so great. Uh, you mentioned the Christmas and Chaos movie, and you mentioned that it was a pure improvising script. I'm curious. I know you gotta be like touchy on what you say because it's not out yet, but like, how did that like did the writer or the director just say, "All right, Charlotte, I got good news and bad news. Good news, you're in it. Bad news, no script." Like, how did that?
Um, so I connected with this director because I'd seen some of his work before. I didn't know this is how he works. I
Uh-huh.
knew, he's a really good creative, artistic indie director, and I wanted to do kind of a comedy drama. And I'd reached out to him, he responded, and we both kind of come to a conclusion that we want to find something to do together. And then we developed this idea. And what it is, he sends like a 10-page synopsis of what the story is and who the
Uh,
character is and who all the other characters are. And we would have a few Zooms, me with the other character, it talking in character. And then literally filming, it would be, he would say action, and we would literally go off on one for 40 minutes.
oh, nice.
Back, forwards, back, forwards. And it's like, yeah, so good luck to the editor, right? So he's
Right. But
in,
also fun for an editor because he could be like, I have no clue what
so
I'm doing.
yeah, he had like so much stuff to choose from. But it's like, this is why it took, it's taken its time. And it's like, there's just finding those gems and putting stitching this story together, and so it makes sense and it's coherent because it's manic, it's mayhem. That's why it's called Christmas and Chaos.
Oh my gosh. I can't wait to see it. It sounds like my type. It's like a live play on film.
It absolutely is. We were lucky enough to get Jason Isaacs as well, so he's
Oh my gosh. I love Jason.
I know, and he was incredible. Like he's just he was so great. We got a great cast.
Oh my gosh.
Great cast. So yeah, I'm excited about that one.
You know what's so funny about Jason? I've never met him, but I feel like if I ever did meet him, because he's done everything, I feel like
Yeah.
I just ask him questions about the Patriot and just the
Yeah,
Patriot.
that's like every act of that movie, right? And that's just like, yeah, that's incredible. And White Lotus, of course, like
Oh
that's
yeah, but I would just ask the Patriot, just be like, wait a second, what?
yeah, true, true. Do you know what? I never asked him that. It was kind of because it was improv. It was very, you know, high. It was very quick, and then it was like, right, let's get into character.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was incredible. Yeah, so excited about that one.
So you're in London now. I wanted to ask you because like in LA, you could like go to the supermarket and run into someone else, like a star or something. In
Yeah.
London, do you guys have that same chemistry? Because there's a lot of people in London out there.
No, not at all. And that's kind of like the downside of living in London. Like it's not creative at all. Like when I was living in LA, I love the fact that you're in it. You're in the creativity and the lifestyle of the nature, going on hikes, the beach. Like it's a beautiful place to live. I genuinely miss it. London is very similar to New York. It's a city. You kind of walk everywhere. Everyone's to themselves on their phone, on their iPad. Like no one's really like. It's just very, very different. So
Oh my gosh. So you could walk by Hugh Grant and not know it's Hugh Grant.
Tom Cruise walks around Knightsbridge. No one knows.
That's also kind of cool though. You know what I mean?
True, true. It is. It is.
Yeah.
Like
Because no one goes up to you and be like, "Hey, Charlotte Kirk," you know what I mean? Like,
not. It's crazy. It's so so different. Very very similar to New York. I'd say New York's a little bit more edgy and cool. I'd say.
I would say New York, the people there, they're mean, but they don't mean to be mean. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
it.
Like, like,
They're honest. Like they're like,
yeah,
okay, fine.
it's my type of people. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, they're fun. I like the East Coasters.
yeah.
East Coast.
Uh, I wanted to ask you about this project, and I apologize. I did look hard to find it, but I couldn't find it. But I find it fascinating. You did a movie called The Juice, which is about the O.J. Simpson,
Yes.
the relationship and all that. And you played Nicole Brown Simpson. And I wanted to ask you, as an actress, when you play someone real, because when she was killed, there wasn't really a lot of interviews about her. So like you couldn't really do research on how to get who she is. And I wanted to know, how did you kind of pull that off as an actress?
That was one of my most challenging roles and one of my first roles as well. I was
Yeah.
thrown in there, and it was tough because as you said, she was a real life real life person, and I was like, I didn't want to mimic her. There's not much footage on her. There's like two or three very quick clips with her and OJ together, um, but not enough to really see and
Who she is, yeah.
yeah, who she is exactly. So I just kind of I read a lot of books, um, and really just going off the script, right? That was kind of my Bible for that. Like, this is really the only thing I have on this project, and I need to do justice to this and not think
Yeah.
all the other stuff, the ifs, the buts. Did he do it? Didn't he? This and that, like all this controversial stuff. I'm like, okay, I'm just playing this character, and I'm going to play her to the best of my ability and as truthful as possible, and keeping it as close to the script as possible.
Yeah.
So
It must be so hard to play real person like that when there's no way to really dive into research. You know what I mean?
it really was. It really, really was. But then I guess like people that have a lot of footage of people that are, that they play like, I think like Amy Winehouse or Princess Diana, someone like that. There's so much footage of them. It's walking that fine line that you don't want to mimic them, you know,
Right.
and play your version of that character. So in a way, I was lucky that, I really wanted to kind of portray her as close as possible, but not mimic her because I don't think that would be right. Coming
Yeah.
from a place from me as an actor and the script.
Yeah. Definitely. What I this has nothing to do with you, but I find this funny is because like there's a lot of George Washington movies coming out this year, which is really
Mm.
weird. And it's so weird because like, obviously he's a president and he's in history books and stuff. But in these movies, he's talking the whole time, and in real life, they say George Washington never told a lie because he had fake teeth made out of ivory, and the average person lies once every 10 minutes. So they say George Washington never told a lie because he probably only talked maybe 10 minutes a day.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, and it's so weird that Hollywood's making these full feature films about him just yakking away.
What he did at all, what you saw him. That's really interesting. It's like everyone's got their own opinion of him and they're gonna kind of do what they think yeah, that's interesting.
But yeah, uh, I wanted to ask you about the demo because that was a more, I would say, more comedy, compared to all your other stuff. Like, and you did very great in that. Do you enjoy doing comedy? Like, do you wish you did more comedy type things, or is it hard for you?
Oh, I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. That was very, very fun. Another film that I'm very proud of, it's called No Panic with a Hint of Hysteria. It's one of my first films. Stephen Baldwin is in it as well. And
Oh, Stephen Baldwin.
it's very
Ah,
fast slapstick.
yeah,
Um, and a Christmas film, and I'm really proud of that. And that's super fun, but very different, as you know. There's different kinds of comedy, right? There's
yeah.
dumb comedy, you play it dumb. There's the fast, overreactive. There's like all these different ways you can play it, and that one I just had so much fun with. And then obviously this one, the improv one, was something completely different. The demo was something else. So yeah, I love comedy. I love it. You know,
Yeah.
and one of
Uh,
my favorite actors of all time is Robin Williams. It's just,
oh my God, yeah.
I mean, wow, what a
Yeah.
phenomenal kind person. Wow.
You know, what's weird is like I don't really get like shooken up when celebrities die because I know that everyone dies. But I remember when he died, like that was like the one I was like, wait, what? You know what I mean? Like I was like very confused by that.
I know, like what a loss, and it just goes to show you never really know what's going on, you know.
Yeah.
But
It's
some of the comedians, I guess, are some of the saddest people, stuff going on that no one knows about, you know.
uh,
Him,
I'm not sad, Charlotte. I'm
yeah,
happy.
go there,
Don't worry about me.
people.
I know we're best friends and all, but
Don't expose anything on here.
But
Yeah.
like, but also speaking of comedy, like Ocean's 8, like that must have been like because that's a dream team of
Oh,
very funny women. You know what I mean? Like how is it like uh doing scenes like that and you're like, oh my God, like were you just cracking up on set and
yeah, that was awesome. I was lucky enough to work with Sandra Bullock, and she's
yeah,
just, the queen of comedy, right?
yeah,
That was amazing. But again, very, very different. And it was a studio, so there's certain things. It's kind of, I feel like you're in the guideline. There's a fine line you can walk. You
yeah.
too outrageous or too, you stick to the script. No improv. So
Oh my God, yeah.
you
They're
know,
very strict and you're like, hey, let's
yeah.
I always think comedy you should allow like do the take on the script and then do a take on improv and you could always edit, you know what I mean?
Yes, certain directors like that and give you that freedom, and some are just like, no, 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 script. And it's like, okay, I like both, but if you can, it's nice just to, if it feels natural, 100%.
Now, you've worked with a lot of legends and stuff, and I wanted to ask you, how as an actress, like, does that improve your acting game, or do you get like, oh my God, this is Bruce Willis. What's my line? Like, how does your mind like do that? You know what I mean?
Hmm. At first, you always get that first, oh my God, I can't believe I'm working with this person. And
Yeah.
I get totally like insecure and scared. But then I don't
Do
know.
you really? Yeah.
Yeah, but then I think like a day or two in, it could be a day, it could be a couple of hours. You just see them as, you know, the character and you just switch off. Um, I feel a lot more comfortable acting with an actor as opposed to having a conversation because I'm in character.
Yeah.
Like if it's just like a conversation, I get shy and I'm like, oh my God, am I going to say the wrong thing? Or, it's weird. But when we're in the scene together, it doesn't actually put me off my work at all or like make me nervous. I've just kind of invested in that. And I do, and especially if they're a great actor, you don't see the person, you see the character. Like
Yeah, yeah.
they're great actors. Like Robin, all the roles he's played, I always see. And another example, Jake Gyllenhaal. I think he's a phenomenal actor. With
Oh,
him,
Jake's great. Yeah.
so versatile. I see the character. Never see Jake Gyllenhaal. A lot of actors, you say, oh yeah, it's him playing himself.
Isn't that funny how our minds work? Because like you just said that, and then I'm thinking, because not to brag, Charlotte, I've also done a couple of movies. I did that three strike thing, got out of Hollywood. But but when I act, I this is why I'm a bad actor because I don't really care. I just want to get paid and do the scene and move on because I'm probably doing a stand-up show at night. You know what I mean? So like when I'm working like with actors or whatever, like these big actors, I could easily talk to them. And maybe it's my Asperger's or whatever, or maybe it's because I feel I'm on the same level as them, like I'm still on the same boat. But like when I'm acting with them, I just like, okay, they're really not gonna like me acting with them. You know what I mean?
It's the opposite.
Yeah, it's the exact opposite of what you described. So I find that so fascinating, you know?
So interesting because you are, and you feel confident, like you are a really good comedian, and you know that, right?
Yeah, but I
You
know I'm a terrible actor.
you might feel a little bit insecure as an actor.
Exactly. Yeah, maybe that's it, Charlotte. Ah, I lost you. Oh, I found you. Oh, I lost.
Sorry, crap.
Oh,
Sorry. Yeah, my
technical.
technical. Sorry, my phone like just yeah, completely.
We should put a disclaimer. I made Charlotte Kirk laugh so hard she dropped her phone.
Exactly. There you go. Sorry about that. There we
Yeah.
go. Yeah. Yeah, it's really interesting. It's a confidence thing, right? Like you feel confident, like being a comedian and me as an actor, as opposed to, you know, a conversational, feeling insecure. It's
Yeah, like if we did a movie together, right? I would prefer us to do a comedy movie because that's my specialties. You know what I mean? But I wouldn't want to be like the romantic lead, not because I'm not attracted to you or whatever, but because I feel I'm better at making you laugh, and the romantic lead never
yeah,
makes people laugh.
true, true.
You
It's
know?
always like the best friend, it's
Yeah,
always the funny best friend, the brother, the son. Yeah, and they're usually the fun roles as well, to be honest with you.
exactly. Yeah.
They're the
So
fun
like
roles.
I
Like,
just want to be like, ah, all right, Charlotte, see you tomorrow. You know?
yeah, no, they're usually the fun roles. Like usually the protagonist isn't that fun. It's all the characters around them. The
Yeah.
antagonist is usually the fun one to play.
Uh, Charlotte, I want to respect your time, but I have four more questions. Can I ask these? I mean, I know you're staying up late, so I
No, no,
appreciate it.
absolutely. Please.
Okay. So we were talking about working, with actors where you're like, oh my God, and Duchess, you had a scene with one of my favorite character actors, Cole Meany, and I
Mm.
wanted to, I wanted to ask like, how is that? Because he's a guy that people don't really know, but in his work, he's so intense. You know what
Oh,
I mean?
he's amazing. And actually, I now thinking of it, I was absolutely terrified. I was so
Really?
excited and so terrified, and that worked beautifully for that scene because it was Duchess going to visit her dad in prison that she hadn't seen in many years, and of course, she was terrified. And we didn't rehearse. Well, he said, "Can we rehearse before?" They were like, "Right, look, again, time. We need to start filming." We got one rehearsal in. I think we shot the rehearsal, but I was absolutely terrified. It was just like, "Hi, I'm like, hi, nice to meet you. Right, let's go." Uh,
Yeah.
it was just phenomenal. Oh, what you see there is just what it was. It's like cut and print.
See, like those things are what makes you stronger as an actor, because like you could just jump into those and be like, all right, cool. And then
You
at
got
the end of the day, you could be like, holy shit, I just worked with this dude.
yes, it was amazing. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. My three final questions. This is has a lot to do with you, and it's not personal, but they're just kind of like like philosophy. Like, if you were an ice cream flavor, like a Ben and Jerry's brand, what would you call yourself, and what would your name be?
Maybe this is cliche. Ice baby.
Oh, that's good.
And what would my flavor be?
Yeah, like would it be vanilla with
Oh, chocolate.
red chocolate? Okay.
No, chocolate chip. Mint chocolate chip.
Mint chocolate chip.
Oh,
Ice Ice Baby by
yeah.
Charlotte Kirk.
I like that. Yeah.
Ah, definitely. And then I don't know if you ever go to these Comic Cons where like fans like come up to you and take a picture and have you ever, you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I
Oh,
have
okay.
one though.
Oh, you have. Cool.
No, it's on my bucket list though. It's
Ah,
on, yeah, definitely.
okay. Well, when you do them, they're gonna ask for your autograph, and then they're gonna want you to say something funny or something, to cheer them up. Or when people ask for your autograph now, like what do you say? Like, do you have a Charlotte Kirk saying, or do you just make it up on the spot?
No, I don't, and I probably should. I mean, I just say, "Oh, thank you so much." I mean, and I don't even ask them for their name. Like usually, like I just do my signature.
Yeah,
But thinking about it, I think that maybe I should like in future say, "What's your name?" But I don't know if I'll have time to like, because in like premieres and red carpets, I do autographs and stuff. But yeah, I'm not quite sure um, what I should in future. Like, I don't know, because you
uh,
signature and a love heart, but now I
yeah.
make it a bit more personal. Like, what's your name? Where are you from? Let me write a little story.
You should hire me when you do these Comic Cons, and I could
Yes,
tell you little jokes to write, and they'll think you're the best.
I like that.
Yeah, like a fan comes up to you, right? And they're like, Charlotte, can I have your autograph? Here's $80 or whatever the price you charge. And you're like, sure, what's your name? And they're like, Timmy. You could say, Timmy, Windex is the best glass cleaner. Yeah.
But then what if they're like, that's great, but how you need to have like a lot of names up your sleeve, right?
Oh, yeah, right. You gotta have a lot of sayings. You could say, Timmy, don't do crack. Something like that. Like you could.
And it needs to be generic like that, so we can just put it on anything.
Exactly, just something really quick and fast, and then Timmy's like, "Oh my God, this is the funniest thing."
And maybe it's just like always smile. Like I don't know, just something.
Yeah, always smile.
Always smile, live in the moment. I like that. Something sweet and like that when they see they will be able to connect to them. And I was just thinking, another film that I just finished. I was lucky enough to film with Lucas.
Oh my gosh,
George Lucas, the Josh Lucas.
Josh Lucas. I was going to say you worked with Star Wars. Holy, well, that's a whole nother podcast, Charlotte. Okay,
Yeah,
Josh Lucas. We love Josh Lucas. He's great.
he was great. And again, I was terrified as well. But and another situation, it was like, "Hi, I'm Josh," and then we had like, "Right, we got to go again. No rehearsal time," and
Yeah.
it was amazing. And also we did a little improv at the end because we just wanted to change it a little bit. Some things weren't working. And I'd like nailed my American accent down on these particular lines. And then we're like, right, let's do improv. I was like, oh, okay. And then we did it. It was like, okay, we got 1 hour to get this last shot. And it was like one of those. But again, it somehow pulled it off. Maybe
Yeah.
improv's the way forward. Maybe I'll just
Well,
do improv from now on.
well, no, when that film it comes out, let's talk about that again because that seems very, I mean, if you'd want to, I love, you're my best friend. I love talking to you.
Oh, likewise. It's been
But
really,
but
thank you.
my last question for you, Charlotte, is if you could go into a time machine and talk to a younger version of Charlotte Kirk and you know everything you know now. It could be from yesterday, it could be from 10 years ago, and you only have 30 seconds to talk to a younger version of yourself. What would you tell yourself?
I would tell myself what I am, what I'm going to become,
Yeah.
and that everything's going to be okay. Like, and enjoy each moment. Like, this is what it's kind of naughty because I'm giving the secret away. I'm going to say, this is what's going to happen. You are going to get where you want to be in your career. You are going to achieve and you're going to live your dream. So enjoy it.
Yeah.
Enjoy. It goes so quick. Go so quick.
Oh, that's a great answer. I
Right?
thought I thought you were going to say Charlotte. This is Charlotte Kirk from 2026. How are you? Windex is the best glass cleaner.
Oh no! Oh my God! I have to be like totally say that, and I'll be like, yes, that's amazing. It's the best thing ever. And I think that's it. Like you just enjoy, live in the moment, enjoy. Like however you
Well,
feel it lasts. If you're happy, you're sad, so just go with it. And I'm still trying to practice that today. Yeah. So, oh, Keith, I think you've frozen. Oh, you're back. Can you hear me? Oh,
I'm
there you
back. Yes.
go.
Excellent. This is what I get for not paying my internet bill. I apologize.
Friends.
Charlotte, I just wanted to say thank you so much. It was an honor. Where can the folks at home follow and support you? Like Instagram, Twitter, something like that?
Yeah, Instagram, Charlotte Kirk official. Same on Facebook. Yeah, and you can get all the updates, all the latest films and podcasts and all that good stuff.
Cool.
Yeah,
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Charlotte, for saying yes, and I really appreciate you. And good
yeah.
night, and thanks for staying up for this.
Cool. Cool. Thank you, Keith. Take care.
All right, bye, Charlotte Kirk.
Bye.
All right, guys, that was the episode. Subscribe, rate, review, and we'll see you guys next week on Reza Rifts.